Hello, good morning. How is everybody? Hi, I'm Trisha, and let me see if I got my Cookie Monster shirt on. So I'm going to see if everybody can hear me. I'm going to see if people are jumping on. And we're going to do the Soul Oracle card of the week. So I decided to do these on Saturdays because I'm too busy during the week. So I just had the card here a while ago. Oh my lord. Okay, right here. I have it right here. So sorry if I'm a little wobbly. I'm just holding up my thing. And I'm in my bedroom right now. Good morning. Good morning, Virginia. How are you? Can you hear me and see me? I just want to know if you can hear and see me. We're going to start on okay. Yes? Okay, cool. There might be a little bit of a lag. Sometimes it's like a couple of seconds, but nothing major. Just gonna go to my, oh, there it is, right there. Okay, cool. Okay, might be faster on my computer. I'm gonna check, see. All right, so just got my hair done last night. All right, so the oracle card of the week is making necessary sacrifices. So I just said making sacrifices. Yeah. And there's a soul lesson behind that. I'm going to go pan out a little bit more. So here you can see my Cookie Monster shirt. And this is making sacrifices. And this is a really big topic. The topic is making sacrifices. I know that sometimes we can't commit because we're looking at our long-term goal. And sometimes we don't commit because we don't know what to set our goals on, our heart's desire on. And I'm just looking at my notes here, sorry. Are you wanting to do something to change your life, but you're afraid of succeeding or afraid of what people are going to say to you when you actually share your goal? You're scared of what you need to do. Maybe you're scared to put 2 feet in. Maybe you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sometimes we tend to do that when we don't want to commit to something. We know it's really big, and sometimes it scares us, and that's okay. Are you always in that mode where I can't do it, but you aren't comfortable with big changes that you have to make for this goal? I know, because I've been there before. You know, where you can't make that big sacrifice. Sacrifice seems like a big thing, right? You got to cut things out. And so probably you're in a type, maybe in a type of, I wouldn't say type, in a frame of mind, or your heart is saying you need to go forward with this, but you're like, oh, I don't know what to do here. You're in a crossroads in your life. And growing up as a spiritual adult, like you've got to put your big panties on, your big girl panties on. And you're like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I know I have to make these sacrifices, but I'm scared to do it. Or, you know, I'm going to be on my own, or I'm going to have to move to a house or change my friends. And, you know, it goes on. And our ego tends to play it up like that. Really, you know, bog us down, make our spirit really heavy. So our ego tends to do that. It comes up with so many excuses, it's not even funny. So making the sacrifices that need to be made. Maybe you need to sacrifice some time to get to your big goal, your heart's desire. Maybe the things that you like cable. It could be maybe you have to give up your car and take the bus. You know, I've been there before. Or you have to shake up the normal routines that you have, that you're comfortable with. You know, we hold on to our routines like a comfortable blankie. I know what that feels like. You know, when you're comfortable in a certain situation and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can make that big change. It's comfortable here. I know what's going to happen. But then you're saying to yourself, well, I'm comfortable the way it is. Why should I change it? But your spirit is saying, well, I need to do something new. And your spirit keeps telling you, I need to do something new. I need to do something new. And you know what it is, but you're in that point where you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So the lesson is make sacrifices. So it could be bills. It could be friends that you have to take out. Maybe the friends you're surrounded with, they don't really support you. They don't support what you're doing. It could be a family member that doesn't support your big dream or your big goal that your heart is set on. So maybe you have to give up, the cable or, certain channels on your cable. Maybe you have to give up internet. Maybe you have to give up, I don't know, going out with friends. Like these big things you're not comfortable with. Maybe you have to give up certain things that you don't like. In order to get to the long-term goal, we have to give up stuff. And that's really important. I'm going to share something because I know when we look at this card, this Soul Oracle card, making sacrifices. Do you see this girl? She has these flowers, okay? She has these flowers, and she's getting rid of the flowers. Why is she getting rid of these flowers? It's because she's got to make sacrifices. Maybe she likes to really buy flowers every week, and she knows these are costing her too much. So a lot of those things, those frivolous things that we do, like buying flowers, which I love flowers, by the way, but she has she has made it up in her heart that she's got to get rid of stuff, even things like flowers. It could be all kinds of things. So can you share in the comments below of the things that you have to give up? What do you have to give up in order to make your long-term goal? Because I want to share a story about my experience with that. So making the necessary sacrifices is very important. This is what we're talking about today. And this is what's going to happen. Because I want to talk about something about what's happening, my personal story, and we're going to talk about what's happening tomorrow with astrology. I'm really interested in astrology because there's big things happening tomorrow and the coming week. There's big things coming. Okay. I'm just going to see if I can put it here without it tipping over. Okay. It's going to be a little sideways. Maybe if I take out the thing. Hold on. Okay. This is much better. Okay. There we go. Way better than before. Sorry, I'm playing with this a little bit, so I'm a little jiggly. Okay. So this is much better. So if you're in the point where you're going to have to make short-term cuts to your life, right? So let's get down to my story. I know it's kind of early for some people, so hopefully you'll pop on later. You can watch the replay. All right, so my story is when I was applying for university. I knew my heart was set on me becoming a teacher. And I know that it was going to be a long road to get there. And I knew I didn't want to go through the shortcuts. I just knew that. I knew I was going to be in school for a while. I just knew it. So I had to really sacrifice a lot of things. So back then I was I used to go out a lot. I used to party a lot. And I knew that when I went to university, I had to cut down on that on that side of my life. And I knew I had to cut out going out as much, and I had to cut out a lot of hanging out with friends, and I had to cut out some family members too. They were saying, "Oh, you're wasting your time. Why are you going to school that long?" I remember hearing that a lot. And I remember I had to cut out some people in my life, and I didn't want to hear that anymore. So I had to sacrifice that. So I did that for quite a while. I went to school to Sejap, and then I graduated. And then I noticed it was getting a little bit more heavy, book-wise. And I had to really sacrifice, I had to really manage my time. That's what I had to do. I had to manage my time, to manage my money, which is interesting when you're going to university. You have to really look at that. And I know this is not a very popular topic, but it's okay because we need to know that things need to be pulled out in order to reach our long-term goal. So suffice it to say, I'm going to talk forever here, but I had to pull out more. I only was surviving on a little bit of income during the months, and I had my mom to help me, which was really cool. She sacrificed a lot, but anyways, so I started to really focus on school. So that meant I had to cut out a lot of the party things I was doing. So sacrifice that. I stopped that. And I had to really refocus. So I had to really change things. I had to pull out some other things. I remember I had a car. I had to stop that. So that had to be taken away from me. I also had to go on a bus, which was okay. I had to go on a bus to school. Sometimes I walked. Sometimes I ran. And I really was grateful that I did that because my long-term goal was to become a teacher. So I sacrificed a lot. I didn't go out with friends that much. I was always in the library or in my apartment, which was really good because I started to learn about spirituality. I learned about how to manage time and all that. And the thing I was scared of the most was I going to get through it? I was scared that I was going to fail. I was scared that I didn't have enough money. I was really scared that I was going to start believing other people. Hi. I was really scared that people were right about what I was going to school for. I was really scared I was starting to listen to them, and I was really scared that everybody else was right. And that really started to sink in because people, towards the end of my first degree, it was intense. And I had people say, you shouldn't do this. I'm not ranting here, but I'm just telling you what I went through. I'm just opening up here. I remember my second year, I was really getting tired. I was going to Bishop's University in, it was called Lennoxville, Quebec. And it was a really intense school. And I really had to sacrifice a lot. I sacrificed going out with friends a lot. I don't think I was being antisocial, but I was getting more serious. And I had to really buckle down. And towards the end, I almost gave up. I almost quit. I remember sitting in my apartment, and I told you this is going to be long. I remember sitting in my apartment. It was like, I forget, Crescent, I don't know what street it was on, but anyways, it was completely quiet in my apartment. And I sat there, and I was really tired. And I was like, oh, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should get a job. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. I went like that for maybe a day or two. I was thinking that way. But I was still going to my classes. I was doing like a lot of English lit classes. That was tough, but it really taught me to be a writer. So I know I read a lot. It was really, really starting to get more intense towards the end. I was taking like really like fourth year classes. We're getting more intense, more research and stuff like that. So I had to really sacrifice more on top of that. I remember I had to take out my cable at one point because I was watching too much TV, so I had to cut that out. I remember I used to cut out my internet too, but I needed it, so I would go down to the university and I would just watch some shows on TV, on YouTube and stuff. So I did sacrifice a lot, but I graduated, and that was my part of my long-term goal. So the second part of my long-term goal, I had to find a way to get into teacher's college, which is you had to get a second degree. So I got into my second degree, and I had to commit. So I really had to commit intensely for 2 years. So that was my goal. For 2 years, I had this goal of becoming an elementary teacher. And so during the summer, before I got in, I was working, I think it was 2 or 3 jobs. And I worked 2 or 3 jobs, and I was really starting to feel it. I was starting to feel tired. I was starting to feel, and at that point, I remember my car had taken, I had to give up my car. Yeah, I had to give up my car. It was a Pontiac Sunfire. It was beige. And I had to sacrifice that. I had to, okay, and I said, I can't pay for this car anymore. I just can't. So I paid my bill, and my car was taken away. Not the most great moment of my life, but that happened. And then after that, I had to really buckle down. I remember I saved over $7,000, I think, during that summer. In 4 months, I saved a lot of money because I didn't have rent to pay or anything like that. Plus, I had to rent an apartment before I went to Fredericton, New Brunswick, so I saved all that money. I took like maybe a week off or 2 weeks off before I went to university. I got in, I got accepted. I think I got the letter in July, I think, or August. And I got in, and I was really questioning at that point because I was really tired at that point. And I had that, I can't do this. This is too much. I can't do it. So my mom, Lorraine, she says, Trisha, you're almost there. Keep going. So she was like my believing eyes. She's really supportive. And she says, you can do it. Just keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So I'm glad I had her. So some of my family members were saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. So I did it. I think that was my crossroads in my life. So after that, I went to class, and then I started to get into it. I started studying. I went to see, my writing was really good at that point, but I was doubting a lot. So I went to see, I got a writing tutor, and I didn't see that writing tutor very long, maybe 6 months maybe, and then I was okay after that. And then I had to really manage my time. And my spirit and my soul were saying, you can do this. So I was taking a lot of courses. I had to do one of them in the summertime. At that point, I was tired. I was like, I was like, I can't do this, but I did it. I committed. Finally, at that point, I committed. And I said, okay, this short-term stuff, this other stuff I had to pull out. I wouldn't say I was a loner. I wasn't. I had some people tell me, well, you don't need these kind of grades to get in anywheres. But I was not listening to that part. some people. So I had to take them out. And yeah, you have to do that. When people start saying you can't do this, you can't do that, take them out. If your spirit says take them out, take them out. So I had to do that. Didn't appreciate that, but I had to do it. So, and I had to make changes too. I had to make big changes. So that was really important. I had to make big changes. I had to, I know I was living in a really cool apartment. And I had to walk. Sometimes I had to walk. I remember I couldn't afford my bus pass at one point. So I had to walk a lot. I remember walking a lot towards my last year of university. I walked a lot. That was good for me because I would get ideas and stuff like that. And was I afraid at that point of succeeding? Yeah, you're right. I was. Then I didn't listen to people when they said, oh, you should stop doing what you're doing. You're wasting your time. And I wouldn't listen to them. I said, thank you for your opinion, but I'm fine. So I really listened to a lot of motivational YouTube videos, radio shows. That really helped me a lot. And I just did what I had to do. And that was really important. Short-term stuff, I get rid of. Hi there. No, I'm going on a tangent here for 20 minutes. So, okay. So I'm going to stop at that point. And, you have to do what you got to do to get to your goal. So if you are a person that wants to be an intuitive, or you want to own your own business, you have to make the short-term sacrifices that you're clinging on to like a little blankie. Sometimes we have to do that in order to get to our big-term goal, our long-term goal. So just like I went to university and I had to make the sacrifices and the changes and all that stuff, it does work out in the end. And I did graduate. I graduated, so I had 2 degrees. And that was really cool. And I did it. A lot of people said I was slow. Some people said that there's a lot of, I don't want to talk about that, but I didn't listen to them. And I didn't listen to them. And I listened to Hay House Radio a lot. I listened to Sonia Choquette a lot. Almost every day I listened to Sonia Choquette. I listened to Doreen Virtue is another person that I listened to. I listened to a lot of motivational phrases like you can do this. Yeah. So I listened to and I read a lot of positive affirmations is what I did. I would have them sorry, not pasted. I had them on my mirror every day, and I would listen to motivational talks. I remember at one point I think it was towards the end of my first degree. I think it was in my 3rd year, 3.5, 4, 4th year. I remember breaking down, and I was really tired, and I started crying at one point. I think I already talked about that, but then, yeah. Then I started reading motivational speeches, you can do this, like really, and I would listen to that even when I was walking to school, or, when I had those really shadowy days, dark nights of the soul, you would call them, I would listen to that, and it really brought me back up. And I was, you go through stuff like that. And on top of that, I had quit drinking. So double whammy there, if not triple. So I had to I listened to I went to a lot of spiritual churches. Yes, affirmations work. They really do. And I remember listening to Doreen Virtue a lot. I remember her. And Sonia Choquette. I read all of her books. All of them. And I thought I was, at times I did feel lost. But I was also taking art at the time too. I was taking fine arts. So that really helped me channel a lot of my energy into sculpting, painting, drawing. And I was very artistic, or am artistic and very creative. So I am, yeah. Yeah, don't listen to negative people. They're probably just afraid. Maybe they're putting their fears onto you. And you don't take it personally. I learned to do that. So, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. The soul lesson here is to make short-term sacrifices. You know what they are. Maybe you have to shake up your routine to get to this goal. And this is very important. To get to these goals, you have to take walking home. Yes, it is. I have to read. I'm going to read that during my March break, because I have my March break for the whole week. And I'm going to read some of Sonia Choquette's Walking Home. I haven't finished that one yet. And there's another one. She has a new one. There's a new one that she has is, God, what is it? I have it in my other room. But I'll post it here later. And I don't have affiliate links or anything like that. I follow Sonia. She's one of my teachers. And Sabrina Choquette. I love her too. Okay, so definitely you have to give up the small stuff. Thank you. Yes, we do have 3 superpowers. Thank you. The 3 superpowers. I have that in my other room. I have to finish that too. And definitely follow. If it's not me that you want to follow other people that really uplift you and raise your vibration and speak to your spirit and your soul. We're all sensitive people, right? I'm highly sensitive. And I'm very empathic. I feel other people's feelings. If you're like me, you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes, see, I got my Cookie Monster here. He makes me laugh. I wear him because Cookie Monster is very funny. Definitely, this is a time. I know I'm going to talk about something else too, okay? Because I know what's coming up is February's new moon in Pisces and the solar eclipse. Yes, Universe Has Your Back is really good too. So February's new moon in Pisces and solar eclipse. So what's happening? The new moon happens tomorrow at 7:58 Mountain Standard Time. And the new moon is also coinciding with the solar eclipse, which means the moon passes between the sun and the earth. And you're going to see like a ring all around. Okay? You're going to see it because it covers over the sun. So, yeah. There's a lot of people feel as though the eclipse is being swallowed by darker forces and stuff like that. A lot of people believe that. Back in the day, in the past anyways, people thought that when they saw this ring of fire around the moon, that people will be stolen by darker forces, which is not true. I think that's really funny. But this, in astrology, it's all about a special time of completion. Things are ending. We need to release the energies that we no longer need. Like things like old relationships, old careers, old jobs, old friends. Things that we no longer need. So when the moon covers the light of the sun, so it's all about a negative force is created within our world, but it's not evil. It's just a natural thing that's happening. It's helping us look at the shadows. And when we look at the shadows, we tend to look at things that we're not able to face right now because we're going to be mirrored back a lot of things. Yeah, you're releasing an old relationship? Yeah. So, because the shadows, they make us look at the darkness, the dark nights of the soul. And it comes from the from the bottom all the way to the surface in the deepest parts of who we are. And during this eclipse, so a lot of aligning things is pulling the energy out, just like when you get bit by a snake, and all what happens is the the poison is really deep down in our relationships and all kinds of our soul and our spirit, and it slowly gets seeped out. And some of us may be holding on to grudges and old wounds, old deep soul wounds in past lives and all of that. And it's a good thing that this is happening now, the eclipse. It's a good thing because we now see the dark side of ourselves. We start transforming it into more of a loving force. So this eclipse is going to be seen during the day in southern and western Africa. Sorry, I'm just looking at this right now. And at the tip of South America. But we all feel it. Have you noticed we are completely exhausted? Has anybody ever felt this month especially? January, February, you've been kind of tired. Has anyone felt that? Just tired. Like these solar eclipses are happening on a new moon, which is all about, yes, you have, it's all about new beginnings, cleansing, releasing. And this is symbolic time to look at your goals again, look at your heart's desires, and create new ones that fit the new you. Because the old goals are going to fit the old you. And that's why we're not comfortable around certain things. That we're like, oh, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. Yeah, well, it's releasing. It's all about letting go of stuff. And Pisces rules the new moon. I'm just learning about this now. And it's all about things twisting. Okay? So, I'm just reading this. It's a sign that we need to really go into the deeper parts of ourselves. Go beneath the surface. Okay? So, I know in late February, which is now, it's time, that's why some of us have March breaks. It's time to really get comfortable. Get into the new space of who you really are. Sometimes we need to take a break, maybe a couple days, a week, or whatever. Okay? So, the Pisces is all about water, right? It's all about dreams. It's all about intuition. This sign is all about that. It's all about creating new stuff too. Okay? It's about opening the space to make way for the new. Letting go of things in your hand that no longer serve you. You know you feel it at a deeper part of you. That you've got to let go of stuff. Maybe you're hanging on to it. Okay? And walking through the fire. Walking through the fire is tough. It's not easy walking through fire. That's why some of us kind of avoid it. We avoid going through what we need to go through. And it's going to get really intense. You're going to feel it all over your body. Maybe you feel it on your shoulders. Maybe you feel it in your neck. Maybe you feel it in your back. I don't know where you carry your attention, but that's where I carry my attention. And it's good to be really self-loving and bring a lot of self-love. Some of us think that self-love is selfish. It's not. It's not selfish. Hi there, Mary. It's not selfish. A lot of us believe, especially raised in religion, like Catholics or whatever, that being good to yourself is selfish. It's not. Abandoning yourself, being selfless, that's a little bit... I mean, selfless is nice, but you have to start being selfish and in a good way. Let's reframe selfish into taking care of you. Taking care of you, your spirit, your soul. And it's time to unwind. It's time to relax. It's okay to say, I need some time. You know? And give yourself permission. Through all these cycles that we go through, endings and beginnings, that we need to let the universe do its work, but you have to listen what your soul is saying. If it's whispering to you, you need to go on a break. You need to do this. I have to do this. Relaxing is good. It's not selfish. It's self-centered. Self-centered is a new kind of thing where you look at yourself and say, I need to do this for myself. And it's not bad, okay? So we're in the Pisces, is in a new moon, and we need to really be kind to ourselves into going to this transition. So what I recommend you do is take a Himalayan salt bath or Epsom salt. Have a quiet bath. Don't read a book, because that's all intellectual. And do stuff with your partner. Do something creative. Go in the flow. The Pisces is all about water. It's all about going with the flow. Being creative, letting your brain go for a little bit, go for walks, be quiet. Pisces is all about quiet. Go in the water. Have fun. Okay? Pisces, hi! It's all about being in the water, being quiet, having fun. Okay? And the new moon falls under the same sign. These old artists, they were born under Pisces. And it's all about taking out your inner artist, being creative. Okay? Yeah, you're live. I see you. And some of us really struggle with being creative. We're in their intellect trying to, I need to do this really to the T. You don't need to do that. You just need to observe. When you're in Pisces, it's all about creativity. It's all about going with the flow, being able to just work with that. And it's very important. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves and see the darkness. So all of this stuff can come together. We need to look at, why do I keep facing this? Why is my spirit saying I need to take time? Why is my... I miss you too. Me too. I miss you too. We need to really fully accept and trust what's happening is meant to be, is meant to be. Okay? We need to really say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do now. It's not about, is this right or wrong? We need to really release things that become really, really stuck. We need to release. Sometimes when we release stuff is when our creativity comes back. Okay? We need to release stuff. Releasing. Release. So, yeah. I'm just looking at this really cool thing on... If you want to look at it, I'm going to put the link underneath. And I was kind of looking at that. And I got most of my information from there. And it's really cool. And, yeah. I think astrology is really cool. I love astrology. When we have the planets, they explain why things are happening. But I really want to talk about why things are the way they are, because you've probably been feeling a lot of things, and we need to release things that no longer serve us, that, no longer feel passionate about, and it's okay to release them. It really is okay. Okay? And it's really cool that there's a lot of people on. Cool. All right, so I'm not going to talk any more than what I have to, because I've talked for like 37 minutes and my throat is kind of sore. So yeah, so if you want to watch the replay, you can go ahead. And there's a really cool article I want you to look at. I'll put it underneath. Okay, let me take it here. Oops. I'm just going to do it right now. Okay. I'm going to do it later. All right. So if you're interested in this is really cool. You can watch a replay. You can share it with your friends. You can like this. And you can go to my website, which is trishakondo.com. And I've got actually 2 readings today at 1 o'clock. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to let you go. And you can follow me on here You can tell your friends about it, and you can go on my website, which is trishacondo.com. So that's TRISHACONDO. And I'm going to put it underneath here. When will I be back? Probably, let me put my website here. I'm going to do something tomorrow. I'm not sure. I really want to relax. If you want to, bye. If you want to follow me, there's my website right there. And I'm going to revamp my website soon. So, bye. Bye, Mary. Have a fun time. All right. Thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. And if I don't see you, have a great week. All right.